Are you, sorry, you're here to speak on this item?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, could you have a seat at the table also? Thank you. Ask you, anybody else, it's your time to come forward. You know, you could, okay. Could you state your names and mailing addresses? We'll start with you.
Brad Jackson, 6110 West Capitol Drive, Milwaukee, Wisconsin, 53216.
Janice Bonds, 4035 North 42nd Street.
Officer Monty Turk, District 7, 3626 West Milwaukee Avenue.
Could you raise your right hands to be sworn in?
Do you affirm under oath that the testimony you're about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
Thank you. DCD, do you have anything additional?
Just to highlight our comment, we're not here for objection, but I do know based on numerous other medical service facilities that have come before this board in the year. I don't know the specific detailed operation of this petitioner, but I know that other facilities tend to have a fairly high volume of customers pretty early in the morning. This facility starts receiving customers at 6 a.m. It's in a fairly residential neighborhood, and I just wanted to alert the board that that volume, if there is a high volume of people coming to the facility early in the morning, it might have some issues for residential, surrounding residential area.
Thank you. Dennis, do you have anything additional?
Nothing additional.
Traffic?
Nothing to add.
Could we please not have talking in the room while we're trying to conduct the hearing? Thank you. All right, so are you here in opposition to?
Yes, I am.
Why don't you explain to us why you are opposed?
Yes, Mr. Jackson stopped by my home, and that was the only time that I found out that it was gonna be a methadone treatment facility going in there. When we got the letter from the zoning board, it only said medical services, so I thought maybe elderly, because a lot of us are retired homeowners. I've lived there since July of 1976, 40 years. And so I thought maybe it's for the elderly, maybe it's for kids. There's a daycare center across the street from us. So then when he told me it was methadone, needless to say, I was taken aback. And I told him that I was against it. We have drive-up drug sales in our neighborhood for the last 18 months at 8 o'clock in the morning till all hours at night. They're there, by the time you call the police, they're gone. So you don't want any more. I just found out last week that they're doing drug sales in my alley. I can look out of my kitchen window and I can see that whole bank of buildings there. There's a T behind us, there's an alley and then there's the T. And I can look out and I can see 1290's building. So we've been there 40 years. I moved in 6 months after I was married, raised our children there. It was quiet for quite a while. We bought the 40-ounce bottles of beer when that was a big thing, the liquor licensing, back in the records, we come down for that. We got that kind of taken care of, but now the drug thing, that's a whole different ball of wax. And I'm just pissed. And I realize they need help, but there are vacant buildings at Midtown, right across from the police substation. There's vacant buildings there, so if they wanna go in an area that can make sure there's no loitering, make sure that we don't have any break-ins, make sure that we don't find any needles in our yards or spoons in our yards, or drug deals going on in our back, in our alley, down our street. I think that would be a fine place. The police can't get there fast enough. I call the police, they do come whenever I call them, or if I give them some information, they will take it down. But whenever I call the police for anything, they respond. And then they call back to see what happened with the response. But I mean, this, here, gone, that's it. I mean, it's something that I never thought that I would see in my neighborhood. So, that's my objection. I sent a letter to the alderman, and I sent a letter to the zoning board, so I know you have my letter.
We do have a letter. Thank you very much. And officer, is there something you wanted to add before I had the applicant address the concerns?
Yeah, just to add that, from the District 7 standpoint, we have more,
Would you mind using this microphone, please?
oh, excuse me. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, just from the District 7 aspect on medical facility, we have more objections for it.
Do you have, what's your opinion about the impact this might have on the drug sale issue that we were just hearing about?
From the sales of what's going on in that area, I don't know. I really don't know if that will be an impact or not. Explaining that enclosed parking lot at this facility and what other kind of treatment things they have there. What kind of clients, what is the bar and what other clients that might be there? That's going to be a question when that is approved and happens. But the other drug trafficking, things like that, it's a dynamic in itself. It's unfortunate that it's happening in that area also.
Thank you. Now it's your opportunity to explain to us why we should grant you a special use to operate this clinic at this location.
Again, thank you for having me today. A couple things, or a few things actually. As you may recall, this isn't my first time sitting in front of you. So with that being said, I did take upon consideration your advice that you gave me last time I was before you, so that I did pick another area that would be more conducive than the last area. This area here, as mentioned before, does have an enclosed parking area that can facilitate at least 30 cars at a time. Also, why I do empathize with this line is, yes, we did read, and I do understand the plight of their area of unfortunate drug sales. That does not correlate to the methadone clinic. Well, one is we're also a behavioral health clinic that we're already in existence, 6110 West Capitol Drive, which we're next door to the Payday Loan Store and across the street from Secure Bank. So we already treat clients that one may have some behavioral health concerns, along with also alcohol and other drugs as well, which we have been a good neighbor to our clients, and we have not raised any concerns as you would naturally have that be a concern at a Payday Loan Store where we have clients there with cash, or also at Secure Bank, which of course they do cash transactions, but which our clients have not been any problems or nuisance. The same will be at this location as well. The reason for this location is twofold. One is that the present building that I'm in is up for sale, and also this present location is bigger and allows for the room for expansion and facilitate enclosed traffic. So therefore, our clients, which we will patrol with our own security, have no loitering there. They're there to receive their counseling as well as dosage and carry on. Also, as I may have mentioned to you guys in the past, that sometimes it's unfortunate that when people hear methadone, they already have a stigma that sometimes has a negative connotation that people may think of junkies, if you will, which now it has really transcended into something beyond that, where now you have people who have an opiate addiction that may have developed from a surgical procedure where the doctor may prescribe Vicodin, Oxycontin, Percocets, things of that nature. And then when the doctor has weaned them off, or the pain management clinic that may have kicked the clients out, now they're left to either try and get someone else's prescription, or sometimes, unfortunately, they may look to for illicit drugs. So, and these are working people. As I spoke with also Postmaster Easton Wright, again, when we sometimes have the connotation of thinking it's just junkies, he knows the operations because unfortunately there are postal carriers that have to stop in before they start their route to receive treatment. They are trying to wean themselves off from the opiate addiction of prescription meds, but we are not here to facilitate the unfortunate drug sales, and I do empathize. And also, as I met with Captain Trasinovich from District 7, we are to work in alliance. We are not to be a detriment to the area, but more of an asset. So those are some of the things that we have in place. Also to the statement of looking toward the Midtown area, I know specifically that also Captain Tracinowicz would not be a proponent of the Midtown area just due to even more concentrated high traffic in that area. So it is, he has advocated and or expressed pleasure in the area that I presently solicit, located at.
Will your clients, I know that you have the parking lot is fenced in. Will your clients, park in that area
Yes.
and then enter the building through the parking lot entrance?
Yes.
Will
So
you have an entrance on Capitol? or-
there are two entrances to the building. There's the entrance in the enclosed parking area, and then there is the entrance off the Capitol Drive as well.
It
which
comes
also-
down our teeth. I'm sorry.
Which also then allows for some of the clients that are on mass transit so that they do enter from the Capitol Drive. But again, there is also the private clients that have their own vehicles or that may come through medical transportation, that then may come in medical transportation vans, or come in through the enclosed parking area.
One of the issues that has come up in a couple of other cases that came before us quite a while ago was this early morning hour. And there was one in particular where that became a real nuisance for a neighborhood because people have their cars running, sometimes there's loud music, there's more than one person in the car. It just, how would you prevent that from becoming a nuisance in the neighborhood?
Well, thank you for that question. One is, the nature of the business is that the clients also like to maintain some anonymity. So that's why there also will not be any advertising or banners that stating that we also offer methadone services. Because again, these are in a lot of cases functional working people that want to come in anonymously and without everyone knowing. So also there would not be loud music playing. Also again, because there is medical transportation bans as well, that would not align with music playing. But in the event if that was to, just by our own personal enforcement of the parking lot, we'll reduce that as well, just in the event that happens. Again, not here to be a nuisance or detriment to the area, but more of a good neighbor, if you will, and work in conjunction with the neighbors. As Ms. Bond stated, I did canvass the area, provided also the auditor's suggestion, and met with a lot of the residents in the area just to address some of those concerns and to let them know that I do have an open door policy. If they have any concerns that they feel are coming from my establishment, I definitely will address it, and I welcome to come and see the operation, but I'm not to be against them versus more working together.
Thank you, board members. Do you have any questions?
Good. You mentioned security. Are you gonna have staff security? Or security cameras? Can you just describe your security plan?
Thank you for that question. Currently, we have cameras inside and outside the facility. We have cameras inside the office. We have cameras in the lobby. We also have cameras for the parking lot, as well as then also for Capitol Drive as well. Then for the actual security, we'll have our own security personnel, and then we'll also assess as business goes if we need to hire external security personnel.
How many employees do you have that are security personnel?
Currently, I do not have security personnel at our present facility versus our internal. It's a smaller location. The location presently is 2810 to be exact, the square footage. Where my other location that I'm also carrying right now, expense-wise, that is over 5,000 square feet.
So
But it's all single level. My second level is 2 stories. This is all one level.
well, if you for this one, what would be your number of security
It would be
personnel?
one inside for the lobby area, as well as then for lot maintenance as well.
And the lot maintenance, is that person going to be controlling? What is the time frame of those shifts?
The dosage, times is from 5 to noon.
And security will be present at all times when the business is open or after hours as well?
Presently now, during, excuse me, I may, reconsider, for after hours as well, just for the methadone itself, but that'll also be a conversation that's gonna be, taking place with DEA, because it is a narcotic. Drug enforcement agency does come in to make sure everything is aligned with the standards, for properly storing and securing the narcotic.
Are you the sole occupants of that building? This is the one we're talking about?
On the main floor, yes. On the upper level is a smaller operation, smaller business, an insurance agency that's been there for a while, along with a driver's ed agency, I think Easy Method, I believe is there. And then on the lower level, what they may sublease it out, that is Veterans Outreach. They're not in there all the time. I think they may be subleasing it out now on certain meetings or occasions that they may have.
Are there any other questions?
What type of lease, purchase the building, lease the building?
I'm leasing presently right now. I have the conditional leases right now just been through the zoning process, but I do have put that in a 5-year lease afterwards. But Mr. St. John's been very helpful and understanding in the process right now.
Are there any other questions? Your motion?
Madam Chair, if you're having found that the criteria necessary to grant a special use have been met based on the evidence in the file, the testimony received, I would make motion to approve this for a period of 3 years with conditions as outlined in the hearing summary.
Is there a second?
I would second with the caveat of an additional condition that there be security either staffed by your organization or privately contracted with at all times during operation, as long as this business is out there.
Okay. So, all in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? The motion carries 4-0. The chair will abstain. So it's granted for a 5-year, 3-year period.
Well,
Thank
thank you
you.
for your time.
Thank you.